I'm going to give you 3 big men the Chicago Bulls should bring into the team, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So here's the thing. Bulls are in the market for a big man. And surprisingly enough, there's not only a lot of big men on the market right now, there's a lot of young big men on the market right now who are already giving you pretty good production and could give you better production if they join the Chicago Bulls and started to move forward. So let's talk about 3 big men the Chicago Bulls should absolutely be looking to bring in to the organization. Not all at the same time, but probably picking one out of the 3, right? Let's go. Now, of course, the first guy that comes to mind, right, is Mo Bamba, especially after the news today that the Bulls would be interested in Mo Bamba. What nobody's talking about is how many other teams are also interested in Mo Bamba, but Mo Bamba could be a good asset here. He wanted to go home to the Knicks. With the Knicks trying to unload so much money to go get Jalen Brunson, that seems like a far-fetched idea. They're probably just going to hold on to Mitchell Robinson, who we thought the Bulls were going to be in on, right? So I would love to see the Bulls go out and try and get a Mo Bamba. Listen, here's the thing. And there's a difference here, right? There's a lot of people that want Mo Bamba to come here and be the starting center, be the big man that's going to be starting, which is probably the reason why the Bulls won't end up getting him, because Mo Bamba's not coming here to be your starting center. Our starting center is going to be Vooch, probably no matter what, unless there's some kind of trade in there that's going to happen. But I would like to get Mo Bamba in here, seeing as how he's 24, seeing as how he does have a ton of upside to where he could eventually be our starting center. I just don't think that that's going to happen this season, and so it could be tough to get a Mo Bamba in here, but he's definitely a player. When he's playing more minutes, he can give you upwards of 18 to 25 points, right? He was a guy that can shoot the ball for you, stretch the floor, definitely a shot blocker, able to come out there and give you rebounds. And especially with the news today that Orlando's not even going to offer a qualifying offer to him, you're kind of more intrigued by the idea of Mo Bamba coming here. But is Mo Bamba going to come here if he doesn't feel like he's going to start right away? That's the biggest question mark there, I think, with getting Mo Bamba here. But I love that the Bulls are interested in him. I would love to see the Bulls bring him in, because he does fit a lot of the things that we want to do with Vooch, on top of having the shot blocking ability. So he'd be a guy that I'd really be okay with coming in here. Again, he shot 38% from 3, 48%-ish from the field, right? So he'd be an interesting player to add to this Bulls bench, but is he going to want to come off the bench? That's your biggest question there. Now, before I continue with the video, I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. What bigs would you like to see the Chicago Bulls go out there and get? I'll be down there talking with you as well. Number 2 on the list for me would be John Collins. John Collins is kind of a big move for the Bulls to make. You'd have to trade for him. You'd probably have to figure out some kind of sign and trade with Kobe White and Derrick Jones, very much like I talked about for going out and getting Doug McDermott in our earlier video today, right? Similar trade in that essence, where you do a sign and trade with Derrick Jones to Atlanta. You also add in Kobe White into that deal. And maybe even a future pick. That might be a little much, but yeah, I'm saying, but you go out and get John Collins. John Collins will be another guy that I think could come in here and give the Bulls good production. He's been a big player in big moments. The biggest question around John Collins is he going to be healthy? Again, another guy who, is he going to want to come here to come off of the Bulls bench? Now, John Collins kind of spent some time in the starting lineup, spent some time on the bench in Atlanta, so he might be a little more okay with it, knowing that he's going to get probably 6-man role minutes in that situation, right? Where you're going to bring him off of the bench. He's going to be one of the first players into the game, which is fine, right? Because then you're giving Vooch less run. You're giving him more time to rest. You're getting the most impactful minutes out of Vooch. And you're getting a combination of P. Will and John Collins on the floor. John Collins with a little more of the offensive upside, with P. Will able to come in and be that defensive anchor on the court for you. And while I would love to get a guy in here who's a 16-8 guy, 17-9 kind of guy with about a block a game, the biggest question mark around John Collins is his availability, right? Listen, I said that I'm willing to make the trade package there, but with that trade package, John Collins has not been on the court a ton. So my biggest question with him is he ready to go? Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be on the court for the Chicago Bulls to use him in that capacity? That's going to be the biggest thing when surrounding a John Collins deal. And when you're asking yourself, is he going to come in and is he going to give you that same production if he's coming off of the bench for you? Again, you know, you're gauging this off of a guy that you're paying him quite a bit of money. I believe he's still got $100 million owed to him on that contract to be 17-8, and right now you're talking about possibly bringing him in here. I mean, unless there's a Vooch trade there and you're bringing him in here as your 5, that could possibly be a thing there, right? Because Atlanta's going to want more back unless they want a future pick, but that might be a scenario there where you got a Kobe and a Vooch trade in that situation. But it seems like Vooch is going to be here. It's actually starting to seem a lot more like Kobe's going to be here, right? Based on a lot of these trades, you're probably going to see them do more of a signing. So John Collins could absolutely be a long shot at this point, but we do keep hearing the Bulls name come up with John Collins, and I wouldn't mind him being on this Bulls team. And finally, my third and final big for this Chicago Bulls team, and probably the guy that I think is more likely than not going to be in the building for the Chicago Bulls if AK is indeed going to look at a nice backup big and somebody who can give you good production, who can slide in that starting lineup if anything helps, and plays well with another center on the floor, would be Isaiah Hartenstein to me. He's an interesting name that has kind of come up as of late, especially with Zubac signing a $33 million extension with the Clippers, right? You kind of see him as possibly the odd man out in that situation. And so he's going to be looking for a new team. He's 24 years old. He's been one of the best PER players in the NBA. I believe he's tied for top 15 in PER. He gives you great efficiency. He plays more than 22 minutes. You can see him kind of give you that 12 and 10 double guy, and a lot of that has been off of the bench. I don't think he's going to get that kind of time, but you're looking at a guy who can be solid, who's going to be efficient, who can stretch the floor a little bit, who moves very well on the floor, and who can give you that defensive ability. I think he's the kind of the perfect package, and you might even be able to get him in here on that mid-level exception. Now, it might cost the entire mid-level exception, I think, to get him in here and just to make sure to pry him away from other teams. But for a solid backup big in that sense, I'd be willing to make that move, right? I think if you do go out and get an Isaiah Hartenstein at that $10 million exception, you're probably going to see Kobe White on this team. I know a lot of people might not want to hear that, but you're still going to need the shooting, and he seems like he's more of the guy that's going to be able to come in, that's going to take up majority, and I don't know if he takes up the full mid-level exception, but majority of that mid-level exception. So you might not have the room to go out and get you a solid shooter that you might be thinking about bringing in. So Kobe White at a minimum is a shooter on this team. He could be a little bit more. Hopefully next season he does improve again and he gets a little more of a consistent role with the Bulls, hopefully not dealing with as much injury next year. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of where the Bulls team's makeup is. I think Isaiah Hartenstein, out of everybody that I named today, is the one that seems most likely, because he's already been in a backup role. He's already been a big that can come in and play that backup role, and he can play it very efficiently, very well. He's not going to be looking for too much on the payroll, right? So you can still make some other moves. Mo Bamba definitely eats up all of your mid-level exception. And you might even get a team to offer him more than that to bring him in here, right? So that'll be an interesting thing to see as well, what kind of offers Mo Bamba's going to get. So for me, Isaiah Hartenstein seems like the most likely situation to be in a Bulls jersey after this season is over, but it's going to be interesting to see, right, where the Bulls go at this big man position. At a minimum, we know that they're prioritizing it. We know that they want somebody to back up Vooch, and so we know that we're going to have a new backup center, not just Tony Bradley opting in for $2 million this season. But I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bulls content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Also, if you haven't done so, cop some of this merch. Cop the Bulls Windy City merch, man. We appreciate y'all showing so much love and support. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.